You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Chris Bechervaise joins us from Stones Live, the official radio station of Maidstone United Football Club. Chris, thanks for taking the time to join us across New Zealand. How much anticipation is there ahead of Maidstone's first ever FA Cup third round tie?
Yeah, there is a lot of anticipation. It's great. It's not strictly true. It's not our first one. There's an argument to say because the club reformed in 1992 almost straight away, but you can say the fan base is the same. But anyway, absolutely fantastic. You know, fans that have been following Maidstone for many years haven't seen an FA Cup third round tie since 1988. Funny enough, we had 2 years running, two occasions in 3 years where we reached the third round. 1986, we played Watford at Vicarage Road. And then 1988, we played Sheffield United at Bramall Lane, losing both matches. So the Sheffield one was actually very close, only beat us 1-0. But yeah, it's tremendous, and we can't wait. And of course, there's a lot of new fans, younger fans that haven't experienced it before. So it's great.
Yeah, so tell us about the reformation of the club in 1992, because as you say, it was almost like pre-92 and post-92. So just tell us the situation behind that.
Well, one of my colleagues has written quite an extensive book on the whole thing. It's quite a long story, but yeah, essentially, the owner then he was desperate to get into the Football League. At the time, we were non-league. We were in a level that we're above where we are now, and he sold the ground. He sold our ground in the centre of Maidstone and went to ground share at Dartford, which is probably about 10 miles up the motorway. And we were there for the first season we were there. Of course, he had all this extra money, so he got lots of nice players in, and we won and got into the Football League. But then a couple of years later, that was 1989, 1992, they applied for the local council for planning permission to build a new stadium in Maidstone, and it was rejected. And the club essentially went bust after that. And funny enough, I'd moved away by then. I've moved away from Maidstone by then, and I didn't realise, but the youth team carried on. Under the name Maidstone Invicta, and was only and that grew and grew, and then eventually. It wasn't until about 1998, 99, they won the rights to call themselves Maidstone United again. So there's an argument to say this is actually the same club now. And we were ground sharing for years and years. And then 2012, we finally 2010, we got new owners who have invested in the club immensely. And we've built a brand new stadium with a 3G pitch. And yeah, so that's where we are now. So we're on the way back, and I guess the aim is to get back into the EFL.
I was going to ask that, Chris. Is that the ambition of the owners to be a Football League club again?
I think so. Certainly National League, the main National League, which is just below the EFL. Yeah, certainly. But long term, I think, yeah, EFL definitely. But I get a feeling the owners are probably going to be looking for other investors to come on board if we're going to do that, because I think they might be struggling. But we'll have to see. But definitely the ambition. Certainly League Two. Say the club's never been higher than that. So that would be great.
Well, let's focus on this weekend in the first place. Even to get to the first round, there were a number of qualification rounds. In the second round, you came from behind to beat Barrow. They're fourth in League Two, so doing really well in League Two. That was at home. How big an occasion was that?
It was fantastic. I mean, they were on a winning. I think they won their previous 7 games coming into that game. And to beat them, it was a bit out of the blue. I mean, you've probably seen the goal. It's gone viral on YouTube, I think, and people seeing Bhivesh Gurung, scoring from about 25 yards into the top corner. Amazing. Came out of the blue actually, because Barrow were really coming back into the match, and it was 1-1 at that time. And I think it was about 15 minutes to go, something like that, and he just hit it so sweetly, and it just went through a sea of players and into the top corner. Fantastic goal, and it was that was amazing. Bit unexpected, obviously, because we were expecting them doing so well to win easily, but it wasn't the case.
So into the third round you go, into the hat with 63 other teams, including all of the Premier League sides. The way it's done, just to explain it to our listeners, is the first team drawn out as the home team, and then the next team is the team they'll face. When Maidstone United came out first, home game, fantastic. Were you hoping for a Premier League side to come out?
Yeah, but to be fair, I think most of the Premier League sides have already been drawn out by then. So it was a question of, which do we want of the rest? There were one or two still in. I think Birmingham was still in there, and Leeds, I think, was still in there. But apart from those, it was it's all right, I suppose. Something.
So Stevenage. So flip that over. Do you believe that you're a chance against a team like Stevenage?
Well, you never know. I mean, Barrow were fourth in League Two. Stevenage, I think they're just outside the playoffs in League One. On a great run. To give you an idea, I saw a tweet from them yesterday from their club that said that they'd returned 3 players to their parent clubs, which were Manchester United, West Ham, and one other Premier League side. I can't remember which one it was, because they couldn't get in the side at the moment, which is rather worrying. So, so it's a different proposition, I think, this time. We have played Stevenage before in the FA Cup, though, 2014. We played them at home in a replay and beat them 2-1. They were League Two then, though, and a different proposition. But we're really eagerly looking forward to it. They've got one of our ex-players playing for them as well, Dan Sweeney, who's a centre-back, played for us back in 2014 when we won the playoff final to get to the National League. So we're looking forward to that. He's a good player, good solid player. So, but yeah, it's absolutely fair. It's an absolute sellout, and we've got a capacity of just over 4,000. That's all. And I saw a tweet today from the club saying that they're issuing out wristbands to the first come first serve basis for those that want to go on the terrace behind the goal, because they have to limit the number of supporters behind the goal for safety reasons. So they're going to have loads of people getting down there for 10:30 in the morning because it's a 12:30 kickoff. So that should be interesting.
Oh, brilliant stuff. And the players at Maidstone United, are they all part-timers or are there some full-time pros there? Yeah,
they train full-time. So yeah, they haven't got other jobs. So they are full-timers. I mean, when we got promoted to the National League a few years ago, the club decided that was the way it had to be if we're going to have a fighting chance of staying in the league. That wasn't the case. We came back down a couple of seasons later, but they decided to stick with the full-time sort of way of working, and yeah, it seems to have worked. And a lot of it means that we can attract players, obviously, to come down from a higher level as well, because they're still effectively in full-time employment with the club. And of course, we've got George Adakobi, our manager, who played for Wolves as well. So, he's got a lot of experience at the top level, played for Cameroon as well. So, yeah, it's going to be great. And we're thoroughly looking forward to it.
Yeah, special day coming. All right, Chris, give us a prediction. You can feel free to wear an eye patch. Be very one-eyed here. Are you going through to the 4th round?
I would love to say 2-1 to us. But what I think is going to happen is it's going to be a draw and we're going to end up going up there and get thrashed. But we'll see how we get on.
Chris, it's been great to get you on the show across New Zealand. Who knows, we may even have a few Maidstone United fans across our country who no doubt will get in touch. All the best to you and the rest of the Maidstone United fan base for this game against Stevenage. And, we all hope that you are in that 4th round hat when the draw is made. Thanks for your time.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.